Hey guys, I wanted to do a more in-depth video on this new Kalk stirrer I just bought, the Avast Marine K1 smaller model Kalk stirrer. I've always wanted to run Kalk. I've always run two-part, and I want to run Kalk for the pH qualities and another means of alkalinity. But I've always heard all the horror stories of trying to tie Kalk into your ATO. So this is a really neat way and a great design, I think, to separate dosing of Kalk from your natural top off. My frag system evaporates about 3 gallons a day with slight variation through the year. I'm currently only dosing of Kalk about half a gallon a day, 2,200 mLs a day. On my Apex, so the osmolator makes up the difference. I just got the BRS 50 ml dosing pump that has a great drip rate, and I'm running that in 5-minute increments throughout the day, mostly in the middle of the night. I'm curious to hear from anyone that's run this, how they schedule their Kalk dosing and what time of the day they do it. I do run the motor 24/7 for now, and the paddle is high. I sent a video to Avast and they said this looks a little high to them, so they recommended that I lower it so that there's only 1/8 of an inch between the bottom of the paddle and the bottom of the reactor, so that Kalk doesn't just sit there like it seems to be. So I'm going to take it down here when I fill it up and lower the paddle. It is adjustable. Also, I've got a pH probe in there, and when I first filled it with a cup of Kalk, it was reading 12.5 on the pH. After 2 weeks of running, it's now reading 12.2. So I can see a slight drop there. And I think when it gets down into the 11s is when I'll change it or add more. But again, I don't really know. Anyone that's experienced with this, I'd love to see a comment from you on how low you let the pH drop before you fill it. My tank is right here, so the dosing pump's just pulling straight from it, and then a short line to the reactor, and then it just drips in through a silicone tube right on top of my return pumps, which is nice because then it goes right into the tank. What I've got on my Apex is this programming. Fall back off. And then I was running 5 minutes per hour in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3:30, 5:30, 7:30. Making up most of that low pH all the way up to 11:30 in the morning, and then once in the afternoon. I've got an automatic alert off if my pH goes over 8.25, just to be safe for now, because that would be a record high. So I'd love to, if anyone else is programming their stirrer in a similar way, or if you see any flaws in this or any risk in this, I'd love to hear from you. But this seems to be a decent way. Every 5-minute interval puts in 250 mLs. So I'm running 9 intervals, which equals 2,250 mLs throughout the day for now. And I would anticipate that going up greatly as my SPS start growing. And again, I've got the full cushion of being able to dose up to about 3 gallons a day of evaporation. So that gives me a lot of room to add Kalk as needed. But really excited to have this. I just want to be careful with it because I've heard of all the horror stories of overdoing it. And I've weaned myself off of the BRS 2-part a little bit. I'm still running about 30 mLs a day of each. I was at 90 at one point, so I've dropped it by 60 mLs down to 30, ramping up the Kalk. I test alkalinity every other day, and I've kept it right around 9. as I've switched from 2-part down to Kalk. And my pH swings have really gone away in the middle of the night. I'm holding 8.0 overnight, which is amazing. It was getting down 7.7, at one point 7.6. So not getting those big swings as a result of this Kalk stir, and it's only been a couple weeks. So maybe I'm pushing it a little bit hard, but anyone that's has this unit, love to hear from you, especially if I'm doing something wrong. But I think highly recommend this for anyone that wants to get away from 2-part or do it in combination with 2-part, or if you have a calcium reactor that naturally brings or can bring the pH down on your system. Kalk is a great way to boost that back up. And I just like that the dosing of this is independent from your natural top off. So you're not clogging those pumps and creating potential problems with intermixing those two worlds. So that's my review, sort of, and questions on the Avast unit. Thanks for watching.